Hello guys, thanks for joining this session. In this session, we are going to do lab for security groups. So let's jump into AWS Management Console. But prior to that, let's understand that what we are going to do in this lab. So first, we will create a security group and then we will create an EC2 instance. And while creating the EC2 instance, we will use that custom security group in our EC2 creation. Then we will write some security group rules to allow and disallow to access the EC2 instance. We will also look into inbound and outbound. So to allow inbound where we can write and to allow outbound where we can write. We will look into that. All these things are coming into our lab. So now let's jump into the AWS Management Console. So here we are into AWS Management Console. Now first we will go into EC2 dashboard. So you remember how do we are going there? So we need to use this search box. We can type it. So this is the preferred way. So once you find it, you just click over there. So it will take you to the EC2 management console and here you will get the dashboard. So currently we have two security group. Now what we will do, we will create a security group over here. So we are into security group and here we will create a security group called, we will give a name AWS Security Group Demo. So we will give a name and then we can add a rules. So see here we were discussing about inbound and outbound to allow the port to access this EC2 instance and whichever EC2 instance which is actually associating with this security group, they can access it. So we will add the security group rules later. For a time being, just create it. Click on create button. So it will create a security group. So see here it has created AWS SG demo. So now the next step what we will do, we will launch an EC2 instance and associate this security group. So we will come over here. Now we will click on launch instance. So here we need to select the free tier only. We will get this option. Now we will click on select. So choose the general purpose and now here configure instance details, you click over here. Now in the configure instance section, that means this section, we will keep the thing as is, as we don't need to provide and we don't need to change anything over here. So we will go with the default option and we will click on add storage. Now here we need to again choose the default option and click on add tags. So you can add tags. So again we can provide some tag over here, provide the name. It is not necessary but you can give it. Now we can get an option to configure security group. So here we need to choose the security group. So we need to select over here, select an existing security group and we can use that AWS SG demo. Now we will write the security group rules later. For a time being, we will review it, review and launch. So see here, we are getting a warning. So this warning is telling that you are not able to connect to this EC2 instance which you are creating because you haven't opened. That means you haven't given a rule, security group rules. So that doesn't have inbound rules where we are opening the port 22. Port 22 is basically used for SSH connection. SSH connection is same like RDP connection of Windows. That means you can remotely access the EC2 instance. So we will continue it because we know that we haven't set up any kind of security group rules over there in our security group. So that's fine. Click on continue. Now we need to click on launch. So here we need to generate the new key pair so that we will connect to this EC2. So here we will give a name and the name should be AWS demo SG demo key. So you need to download it and we will use the putty connection. If you are working with Linux system then you don't require, you can directly do that. But if you are working with the Windows system then you need putty tool to connect to the Linux system. So because we have created a Linux system, this EC2 instance is a Linux system. So you need to must have a putty connection to connect to the Linux system from Windows machine. So download it, download key pair and save it. We will use it later. And now we will click on launch instances. So it is getting created. You go here and you will check it. So see here it is still working. So it is in pending state. So now it is being created. So now we will go to the security group and we will look into the inbound rules. So let's look into that. If you select that, you will find over here that there is no inbound rules. So what it means? So that means this security group is associated with the EC2 instance which we have created now. So suppose that if you want to connect from PuTTY, then it will not connect. Why? Because our inbound rule is not being set. So let's try it. So open first PuTTY keygen so that we can generate the PPK key, that is private key, from the PEM file which we have downloaded at the time of creation of EC2 instance. So let's open it. So now we need to load the key. So here you need to select all files. We need to select this PEM file which we have created for AWS SG demo key. So select it, open it, and it has given us the private key. So we will save this private key, yes, and we will give a name AWS SG and save it. So now we will open the PuTTY and try to connect to the EC2 instance. So now we have opened the PuTTY software. So what we need to do, we need to specify the IP and the user. So the user is EC2-user. Now we need to grab the IP, public IP of EC2 instance. So to do that, we need to come back to the EC2 dashboard, and here we need to select the instances. From the instances, we need to grab this IPv4 public IP, copy it. Once you copied it, then again open the PuTTY software, and here you need to paste it. Now see here, we are telling that go to this IP with this user and connect it at port 22. But this port 22 is not opened in the SG group, in the inbound rule, which I haven't written yet. So what will happen that even though you have generated the key, map it first. So we will browse it. Even though you have mapped it, but still it will not work. Why? Because inbound rule is not being allowed yet. Okay. So first we will save it. Come here, and here we will save. Give it a name, AWS SG demo. Save it. Once done, now click on open. So what will be the output? What do you think? Exactly, it will not connect. So it is trying, but the port is not open there. So that's the reason it is keep on trying. After some try, it will return the error. See here, after some time it throw network error, connection timeout. Now what we will do, we will write a security group rule for inbound, for incoming traffic. Okay, so let's do it. Click on OK. That's okay. You go away, and now we will go here. We need to come here into the network section. So here security groups, and then we will select the SG demo, and in the edit, so here large it. So here we need to click on edit, and we need to specify the SSH, and we need to open the port 22, and the source I'm going to use anywhere. I'm opening for everywhere. So select it. So any of the IP can access this instance. For a time being, I'm keeping it like so. I have added it, save. Now I have added a rule. So this rule is being added. So now again open the PuTTY software, and what we will do, we will try to connect again. So let's do it. So here we have already created it. So load it. So now try to access it. See here, it got connected. Click on ID. Why? Because we have allowed the SSH connect. So this is what the security group role is. It works as a firewall so that you can allow or disallow at any time. So by default, from a security group perspective, outbound, all the traffic which is going out from the EC2 is being allowed. So all traffic is being allowed from EC2 instance. But inbound, you need to specify which IP is going to access this EC2 instance. So it is really important to understand inbound traffic and outbound traffic to understand the security group. So this is what I wanted to demonstrate you in this session. See you in the next session where we will discuss some new topic. So till then, bye bye, take care.